Welcome back to What She Said Sports. Hey Tina, how you doing? How you doing? Hey Val. Welcome everybody. So yeah, I'm just gonna talk until people join us because I didn't put up an intro. So check this out. I was listening to one of my older videos that I did during the time, if y'all can remember, when Ocho and Shannon Sharp, when Shannon was being rude to Ocho, and then his fiance started being rude to him. And this was after like he was at a restaurant eating breakfast and she was on the phone and on speaker and was cussing him out. And I made a video about that. And I actually, when it came to Travis Hunter's situation, referred back to this video. I was like, you need to talk to Ocho about public disrespect, right? So I'm over here listening to this video and I got caught up in it because it is so good. And let me tell you why it's good. Because it's after all is said and done. See, when I made the video, it was fresh, right? Things were exactly as they were, reality. Well, now some time has passed. Some things have transpired with Shannon. Some things have transpired with Ocho. His relationship is in a different place. So y'all need to go back and go watch that. I said I was going to try to find the link to it, but I went ahead and started the podcast. I'm going to put it in a playlist called All Said and Done. Because, after things are all said and done, this is what it is now, right? So it's good. It's good. And I was like, oh, this is a gem. Because now look at the situation Shannon is in. And what did I say? If you watch that video, I was upset with Shannon because it seemed like at the time Shannon was tripping all over himself to accommodate Ocho's fiance. I say it now because I don't think they're together no more. And people were calling it out in their I guess Unc and Ocho, they're streaming. People were wondering why Ocho didn't leave Shannon at the time. And it was crazy because people were saying, see, Shannon tripping because he at ESPN now. He had just got that ESPN contract. He was switching up, he was changing, he was being rude to Ocho. And people did call him out about how, you know, in that video, I said, Shannon, Ocho is telling the story about how he was disrespected by his fiance. Guess what Shannon started to do? Talk over Ocho to somebody that wasn't even on camera. So the video is gold. It's gold now because time has passed and things have changed, and y'all know what has transpired with whom. Go watch it. I was actually wearing the same sweatshirt I'm wearing now with braids. I was trying to see what was the name of it. The name of the video is NFL Get a Prenup. Get a Prenup. Chad Ocho Cinco Did Chad Ocho Cinco get played? Go watch it. Go watch it. I'm gonna drop the link in the chat. If one of the moderators can find it and drop the link in the chat, cool. I'm gonna drop the link in the chat after the video, and I'm gonna add it to a playlist and share the link for the playlist. All said and done. All right, welcome back. Welcome back. Oh, boom, boom. Hey, you saw it, so you know what I'm talking about. It's funny how when things are fresh and you're speaking on a topic, but then when time passes and you go back to that subject, and time has passed since the initial situation, it people would say it reads differently, it plays differently, right? Because I was like, he needed to get a prenup, he needed to put that wedding on pause, and he did. And now I was calling out Shannon, and look at where Shannon is. So you know who's gonna be next? The NFL and the Cleveland Browns. As soon as some time passed after it's all said and done. So welcome back to What She Said podcast community. I have a quote that I want to read because I believe we're going to discuss a couple of scenarios. People are wondering, is Sheduer going to be in Cleveland? They were wondering this before the speeding tickets, and nobody thinks that speeding tickets are a reason to change up what's happening on the field because he's clearly going through something, right? And nobody thinks that that should be used against him. And I said, I felt like God gave him grace. So if I felt like God gave him grace, so should the NFL, and so should the media. And I also said that the NFL would throw rocks and hide their hands behind the media, right? So it's quite interesting because you are hearing more and more people say that he should go to Canada, right? And I did a poll and it is split right down the middle. And I did another poll. I said, is it time for a boycott of the NFL after their cruelty, and devaluation of Shador Sanders in the draft and in Cleveland? So I gave three responses so you could take the poll. I said yes with three exclamations, like, yeah, hell yeah, right? And then I said not yet, like with a period or whatever. And then I said no with one explanation. So there are some people that said not yet. There are some people that said yes. So it's the not yet that I'm waiting to see, because the way you feel today, you might change tomorrow. And maybe if you voted, if you were part of the not yet, maybe you could tell us in the comments why you said not yet. Like maybe we need to go a little further down the road and see what transpires before we, start a boycott. So uh we close. I'm just gonna put it out there. We are close. The only way y'all gonna see any different from these people is if God come down here himself, right? And lead pretty much like 47 did. That's what it's gonna take, right? And there's still more to come, in terms of they not ready to move away from, what I call plantation fantasies, right? Because race normally comes off right off the plantation. There's several articles that talked about it. So we heard, early today I read about what Coach Prime said, right? About it's time to finish up strong. And I said, okay, finish up, right? Maybe, like I said, maybe he was triggered and trying to cope with. Maybe they are gonna let him go. Maybe because he signed his contract, so he can't just leave, right? Unless he sue or something like that. And they fight about it. So maybe they did get wind that he might get cut. I don't know. Then again, maybe it didn't speak to that at all. But I see the pattern. So we just talked about it. So this is one of the ways forward, right? So let's say since his contract is signed, even though Quinshawn Junkins did not sign his contract, let's say his contract is signed, and that means that he's on the roster, and they keep on the same current path, right? What? That they don't want him to start, whether they hang their hat on this ticket or whether they already been acting like we don't want him to start. They technically still have him as a fourth string QB. So scenario A, he's still a fourth string QB. He made the roster, but he's a fourth string QB, which means he's going to be buried on the depth chart. Something that's happening with Jalen Milroe. So this is one way forward that I think that he's going to have to look at. This is going to have to be his perspective. The art of detachment means nothing belongs to me, right? Even though I want it, it's not mine. Don't even worry about it. They never made me QB1. Don't worry about it. It says it's all in the experience. So if they make him a fourth string QB and only let him play a few snaps, and we know he's QB1, we have to look at it as God's protection for him. We have to, and he has to look at it as what? He got to look at it as, well, since I can't get to play and be QB1 or QB2, I guess I'm going to just enjoy the experience. Just enjoy the experience. Stay ready, work out, hang out with your football friends. Y'all make memories together. Enjoy the experience. Because, see, here's the thing. Knowing that they never wanted to draft him, right? Because that's out there, right? And then they did, and they were cruel. They were literally cruel towards him, bullying him, right? And then they robbed him, right? Maybe that's why he don't start. Maybe that's why. Okay, just be a fourth string QB and see what God does with that, right? Enjoy the experience. Have no expectations. Yes, you are the best. They won't release you, but they won't start you, and they're burying you on the depth chart, just like they're doing Jalen Milroe. Enjoy the experience of being in the NFL and whatever you thought that was supposed to be. Make it be that. Make it be that. That's his path forward. Because to be honest with you, I think they're gonna release him from the NFL because they don't want him to go anywhere. If they wanted him to go somewhere else, they would have never drafted him. And to me, they do this to a lot of these guys. They took Vince Young, knowing what he is. He could have went to Canada as a dual threat QB. Hell, maybe by now, from the Vince Young time to Shador's time, somebody else could have started the league because they would have seen all this talent sitting out here. So it's like they're hoarding talent and they're trying to dumb it down, right? Because they don't want to do what? They don't want the league to be full of dual threat QBs because they don't want to draft a lot of dual threat QBs because who does that look like, right? Josh Allen is one, right? But they trying to make him a pocket passer. So his way forward makes the roster, buried on the depth chart, enjoy the experience. And if they decide to put him on waivers, something that clearly was a plan from the outset, his phone number passed around to 2,000 people in a data breach who did not need to know, including equipment managers, including the Cleveland Browns, which means everybody knows he had a waiver wire attached to his name. So if they move forward with that and they try to hide behind this a speeding ticket, right? They can catch hell from somebody. But at the same time, be okay with it. Because if you on waiver wires, I think the process is a little different, right? Other teams have the opportunity to, to go, I guess, to go and try to sign you. And then that could either, which means we talking scenario A1, start his career as a Tyrod Taylor or Geno Smith, a journeyman, a backup journeyman, right? And that's something I've been predicting since the beginning. Um, that they would cut him from Cleveland, send him somewhere else before he has time to learn the playbook, which means they can hide behind the excuse. He's not ready because he didn't learn the playbook. See how they already are trying to say he's not catching on as fast as Dylan? We know that that's a lie. We know that that's a lie. I did a reaction to Mary Cavick's video where she was asked who's the best fit for QB, and she ran down everybody on what they had to do. She said Dylan had to get the whole picture, and he had a learning curve, right? So we know they lying. All Shador had to do was what? Not drift backwards out the pocket because they don't want him to. Not that it's a bad thing because the greats do it. They stay mobile so they don't get sacked. And coming from Colorado with the O lines that Sheduer had, in my opinion, which was negligent, especially on the right side in year two and across the board on year one, that's something he learned to protect himself. And he actually still had the most accurate. He has the best accuracy in college dealing with that, right? And that should make you gravitate towards a person. But these people have an agenda. So what you have to do, which is why I say he need to go to therapy, and they gonna tell him you in a toxic environment, and it looks like they trying to play keep away with QB1, even though you're proving the best. It has happened to Joe Gilliam. It has happened to Marlon Briscoe, right? Um, it's not new. It's also why what? Warren Moon went to Canada, so he didn't have to deal with this. And he's a Hall of Famer in two leagues. And then what? The league came calling. So there are people who feel like Sheduer should not sign his contract and went to the league. But since he's here, we get to watch the NFL expose themselves by doing what? What did I say they was gonna do? Jump over hurdles and hoops and climb ladders to do everything to prevent him from becoming QB1. And this morning, what are you hearing? Oh, he's not mature enough. He got a speeding ticket. Let's start Kenny Pickett. Do that. Do it. Because we all know we don't even need to see Shador throw a football to Jerry Jeudy, who's a first string wide receiver, to know Shador is good. He makes the fourth stringers and the third stringers and the second stringers all look good. That is also a QB they should be gravitating towards. But see, sometimes you got to give people what they think they want. Oh, we're willing to lose. Just keep him. Take that entitled so and so off the board. Just keep that entitled so and so away from QB1. It's the same thing, whether they're using the word entitled or not. So Shador's mentality has to be, if he on the 53-man roster, if he in Cleveland and buried on the depth chart, enjoy the experience and just go with it. Because clearly God allowed it, so there's a reason for it. And it probably has everything to do with your protection. Because Cleveland did not shore up their O-line. They didn't even address it. The wide receivers either. They want to do a run game. Then let them run it. And if they don't cut you, they're going to have to explain themselves. Right? And the fact that you don't see other teams trying to get Shador, knowing he's the best, and seeing Cleveland devalue him and say he's only as good as a fourth string, you don't see nobody come running for him like they did for Bryce Young. Why? Because Shador is just as good. Because they can't. It's called collusion. Why you think nobody could get him in the draft? Because they took him off the board. So what are they doing? That's the equivalent of making him unavailable for other teams to get. It's called a moratorium. Let them do it. Let them keep exposing themselves. We 5 minutes away from a boycott. Nobody is going to sit by and watch them quietly continue to mishandle Shador Sanders, to discriminate against him, to exclude him, to bury him on the depth chart. He is without a doubt the best QB that was in this draft. And they even tried to say this draft class wasn't good. They didn't want to acknowledge Cam, Jalen, Shador, Quinn Ewers, nobody. They didn't want to give the top 3 quarterbacks who were all black. They didn't want to give them the credit because they didn't want to have to admit, why is a first string QB being drafted at number 144? That's still a question. Why did you say he was a first string QB NFL, but you had him pushed down to 144, or you let your owners take him off the board? That is a question that needs answering. And every single day, they come with the foolishness. They're being exposed for being what? Not haters of Coach Prime, racist. Executing plantation fantasies, trying to go back to a period where they had banned all black quarterbacks where they had banned all black players from becoming quarterbacks. They're trying to take it back 9 decades. But they want to make a stop during the era in the 70s when Warren Moon went to Canada so that this would not happen to him. Warren Moon did it right. The next generation coming out might want to think. And Lenore Seller's father should have took the money. What Shador's dealing with is not anything he can manage alone. And the NFL doesn't expect for football fans, NFL football fans, to stand up for Shador. I have no idea why. He has 3 million fans and followers, which you need 42 NFL stadiums to accommodate his fans alone. And his fans and NFL fans overlap. Because NFL fans that like college football like Shador Sanders. And they don't want 3 million new fans, I guess. Or 25, what is it, 2,500 million, or however you want to say it? 25, 2 million, 2.5 million. So my point of bringing up the video was I was talking about how Ocho should have got a prenup because he's in a situation where somebody was publicly disrespecting him and he was getting ready to marry them. And how his co-worker seemed to be jumping over himself to accommodate his fiance. And men and women called Shannon out for how he disrespected Ocho and how he was also simultaneously jumping over Ocho to accommodate Ocho's fiance. Thou shalt not covet anybody's wife or fiance. And where's his situation today? This is what's going to happen in the NFL with Sheduer. I would say they keep playing, but they ain't playing. They persistent. They are playing keep away with QB1 for Sheduer, and they want to die on the heel of he got a speeding ticket. Go right ahead. So Sheduer enjoyed the NFL experience. He looked like he enjoyed himself yesterday out there with the guys. That event was perfectly timed. That is God's grace for Sheduer. You are not supposed to sit and stew about that. This ain't on you. You are trying to cope, but you need to get into therapy once a week just to check in and have an objective third party to teach you how to cope with this toxic environment that you are in that you cannot exit on your own because you have a contract. Unless you're willing to pay them $4 million and deal with breach of contract in court. And I say since God opened the door, good. But when we see him, struggling, that's where the concern came in at, because that's what that was. He knows who he is. But I guess he was starting to forget since they keep telling him otherwise, in unison, loudly, consistently, incessantly. That's called bullying and badgering. Why do people bully? They want to exert their power over somebody that they think is in a lesser position because he wants to play in the NFL, because he wants to be QB1, because he wanted to be drafted before his father. That's all he wanted. And then you heard what? Oh, he's falling down to 6. That ain't really falling because he wasn't ever going to the Giants. No way. 2 to 6 wasn't a problem. And they leaned on other people to make that happen. See, they didn't want Mike Tomlin to be Ozzie Newsome. They don't want nobody else to do what Ozzie Newsome did. And if you don't know, Lamar Jackson, the Heisman winner, was in the draft, was made to sit till number 32 because they wanted him to be a wide receiver. And he chose to honor who he is, his gifts and talents as a quarterback. And what did they do? They made fun of his mental aptitude test. They denied him and said he was too short. He's 6'3". And then guess what they did the next year after they drafted him 32 and picked his pockets? Because his colleagues all went in the top 10 and got paid about $30 to $20 million. He got 9 over 4 years. 9 million divided by 4. Just like Shador. Instead of 40 million, he got 4. They just repeated the process, which is why before the draft, 14 days before the draft, about the 10th of April, there was a big box show. And the guy on the end, the white guy on the end, somehow they got on the subject of talking about what happened to Lamar in the draft. And the guy on the end said that was interviewing Shador Sanders. Interviewing Lamar Jackson. Somebody said Coach Prime. He said, you know why? Because they knew it was going down. And you could go back to that video. It is out there. You can go back to the date. Somewhere around April 10th. Whoever got the time to go find it, find it. I made a video based on it because I knew. They knew. Just like Emmanuel Acho knew Jackson Dart was going number 2. Chase Daniels knew Jackson Dart was sneaking into the first round. They all knew. Why do you think they brought up Coach Prime interviewing Lamar Jackson? Because you interviewed Lamar Jackson when it was being done to him, and now we finna do it to your son. And we gonna scapegoat you. That's why they had him on the stage in the Ring of Honor. They can't explain themselves. They threw rocks and they all want to hide behind the media. Go ahead. Max says Shador need to be done with Cleveland. I agree. It's toxic. And him with these 2 speeding tickets at the same time tells you he's in a toxic environment. It's confirmed. This told you that when he didn't do it the first time. So go back to that moment. Oh, I'm sorry. Go back to his welcome to Cleveland. Remember that video? I still have it. What did I say when they called him? That was before. That was the welcome to Cleveland call. That was the most condescending call. We did a comparison. We played Shador's call, welcome to Cleveland, and we played Dylan Gabriel. And then we see Dylan Gabriel out here on the golf course with the coach. Let them have who they want. Let them set you free. And whatever that looks like, be okay with it. Because you was about to hurt yourself. So now they're going to be jealous that he has a driver. Expect nothing. You don't want nothing. Don't ask for nothing. Enjoy the experience. If they don't want you to be QB1, cool. Have the same attitude you had in the draft. I don't care if I go, what team I go to. I don't care. He said, it don't bother me about what he said. I can go to whatever team. Then when they tried to get it, when he dropped it in the draft, it don't matter where you got drafted. So they took him off the board and was going to let him. Let's see how he fought. That's what Andrew Barrett said. That's why they didn't look happy when they got it. See, they already had the email that he was going to get cut no matter where he went. And maybe he was going to be an undrafted free agent or Mr. Irrelevant on their squad, which is why they were nasty towards him, condescending towards him. They were making him feel like, we don't want you. We saved you. One of the first things they said was, Shador was relieved that we saved him. Y'all didn't save him. You set him up from the jump. And they need to be singled out and sued. They set him up from the jump. They were never going to draft him. They made him think they were going to draft him. And they made Andrew Barrett do all the legwork. He ought to be tired being used, but he must like it because they hung Deshaun Watson's contract on him, and they know they had to give it to him. They reimbursed Deshaun Watson every dime he paid to those women, and they reimbursed him his legal fees. They got a black GM to do it. So the Shador's perspective, what it was in the draft, since they want to repeat the draft, you take the same perspective. That's why Shador need to go to therapy so an objective third party can explain to him you are in a toxic environment. This has nothing to do with your father. You are a black NFL quarterback. This is par for the course. It's called discrimination. You are in an abusive relationship with people who don't like you and who don't want to let you go and likely drafted you so they can continue to punish you. That's abuse. And you can't get out of it without going to court because you signed your contract. I'm not mad that you signed your contract. I wish you hadn't. But that's why they acting like this, because what you gonna do? Keep moving closer to God because you're gonna need it. So let me see what y'all are saying. Hopefully that speeding ticket is enough to get him dismissed. Let me see about that. Um, okay, it could be. But then again, they could have known he was gonna get dismissed anyway. When Coach Prime said finish strong, see that says something is out here. And they were already leading towards that. A lot of people had put out a lot of videos because they were picking up on that he was gonna get dismissed. And I was like, okay, cool. But see, look what has happened. And that's what needs to happen. The whole situation, whoever said it was toxic, is spot on. Cleveland is toxic, being fake. They told you how they felt at first, but then they must have started getting in trouble. Then they decided to say some nice things about Coach Prime and some nice things about Shador. But then the actions don't match the words. Oh, he's doing really good. We know he's really good, but he don't get the opportunity to show it with the first string. They holding him back. They playing keep away with QB1. And my question is, what is wrong with Shador Sanders being the 17th black starting quarterback drafted in the NFL? And what is wrong with after he won outright this little fake competition, after they have Jerry Judy sharing a locker with Joe Flacco, which means it was never a competition, why he didn't get an opportunity, why he got excluded from the competition. They try to make him feel bad. They try to make him doubt himself. They try to destroy him because they know if they work his mental and tax him enough, they believe he won't rise to the occasion and ball out enough to be QB1. And they working him before rookie minicamp. Because if they gonna cut him, they would have cut him already. And the only reason they gonna wait to the last minute to cut him is so he don't have time to learn another playbook. They playing with this young man. Divine intervention is needed because that's all that's gonna work. The Lord is gonna fight the battle. That's it, Miss Pamela. That's it. And me hearing that video about Ocho and seeing now that it's all said and done, look at what has happened. Listen to what I said and look at what has happened to the people involved. This ain't gonna be no different. He has given the Browns a reason to cut him by saying he is immature for not showing up for his court date and paying a ticket. That is legit. Okay, well, if that's how you feel. Hell, I don't know. Ain't none of y'all never had a failure to appear? He didn't have no warrants. He don't have no warrants for failure to appear, but okay, use it, whatever. Shador will thrive wherever he goes. They not hurting him. If anything, if they cut him, they are setting him free. Do us all a damn favor. So he could go on and we could go with it. Because I'm ready to burn every damn piece of NFL paraphernalia that I had, starting with this. And you know why I bought it. I will burn all of it and never look back. He too good for them. He pretty much was being better off undrafted. Agreed. Shiloh landed in a good spot. Let's see if he makes the squad, because I ain't so sure. Can't he retire, then go to the CFL? I don't know. To be honest, I don't know how their contracts work. I'm tired of Mary Cabot. Right. Yeah, like, let them have what they want. But see, I know Sheduer waiting on God to open the door. And maybe Coach Prime see it get ready to happen. So he's saying finish up strong. That's the right attitude to have. That's the right attitude to have. Because they got a backup plan. He was already on Canada's negotiating list. And all people more and more are saying that we are sick of this. And I'm sick of Cleveland. Be honest with you. Sick of Cleveland. They don't want to do right. So let them have who they want. And I hope, just like in Carolina, when their tickets go to 45 cents, don't nobody show up. It might take a minute, but a boycott, in my opinion, is about time. I'm willing to wait to see what happens next week. Because if they keep him, scenario A, they just gonna bury him on the depth chart. And if they put him out there to play and the O-line hurt him, it's gonna be a problem. The NFL is damned if they do, damned if they don't. My motto is, when you're in a situation like that, you might as well do what's right. But they're not gonna do what's right, because it's more important for them to preserve whiteness at the quarterback position. Because that's the message that they're sending, with not just how they treated Shador, how they treating Cam, and how they treating Jalen Milrow. 16, 17, and 18. Which is why Lenora Sellers is supposed to be 19, and his daddy should have took that money. And if he have the opportunity, he might want to reconsider. And don't be foolish and think you know different. Because I asked the question, what makes Shador think he different from Lamar Jackson? What's the difference? They all talented. That's why they have ascended to the majority with Shador at 17. Because they are all talented. But they have barriers, obstacles. They have everything thrown at them so they don't make it. Why do you think Tyrod Taylor is suing? Because he felt like they were being negligent and something wasn't right about that injection. How to somebody lung with a standard pain injection, and they never dismiss that doctor. He still works there. They don't care about these guys. They want them to come in, labor, and get the hell on. And now they're like, I don't even want you to labor. I just don't even want to look at it. They do not want to look at the TV and see this and two black quarterbacks every week and four vying for what? The Super Bowl consistently. Because that's where we're headed. Pat Mahomes and Jalen Hurts have already been twice. Each of them won. We almost had four between the AFC and the NFC, except for somebody couldn't hold on to the ball. And I don't know why Lamar Jackson think he need to defend that man, because that man has never defended him one time. We don't even know if he was really fine like they said he was going to be, because he refused to talk to what? The reporters, like everybody else have to. And who came out and defended him? The GM. We not making no changes. We already looking at draft film. They don't give a damn. The Super Bowl is for the players. But there seem to be some players who might be compromised. Some of them are on O lines. Some of them can't hold on to the ball. Needs to be looked into. Into it. But they're gonna investigate themselves like they supposed to be as of a month ago, investigating the prank on Sheduer. Where's the investigation landing at? We need an update. What's the update? Where's the accountability? It ain't hard to find out who had on the Ole Miss sweatshirt. I mean, y'all gave out the number. You know who had it. You see who made the phone call. You know who that is. Because they don't want. They are protecting the Ole Miss sweatshirt guy. Because they know he had inside information. They know. They just probably didn't know they was gonna record it. Then again, maybe they didn't care if they did. But that prank is what told you that they were humiliating him. That was the first inkling that what's happening to Sheduer was a setup. So I don't wait to see what Cleveland gonna do. I wait to see what God gonna do. Because I see who gave him grace. I asked for divine intervention and he's I'm asking for it again. Let's go. They're not gonna get a moment's rest if they keep him because they don't want to let him go. Because he does have somewhere else to go. He does have options. They're not gonna bury him on the death chart in peace at all. At all. But for him, enjoy the experience. Don't stress yourself out about people that hate you. But that's what he's learning too. See, he has to learn. This is not about his father. He has to know. Shador has to sit down and look at Black NFL quarterback history and see his story in all of theirs. And every quarterback coming out next, including Caden Salter. All these reporters are likely on the payroll. Oh, Max said that was him that said it's toxic. Yeah, that's toxic. He's in a toxic environment. Yeah, they said that the guys, you're right, Gretchen, the guys that made the pranks were just kids. But Shador, all of a sudden, is a heinous criminal. But they overlooking domestic violence allegations of what's his name out there in Pittsburgh? Aaron Rodgers. He shouldn't be on nobody's team with that. They better sit down and look at that. Then the fact that he didn't put on a wedding ring and he ain't married to nobody trying to pretend that he is, and his family say he not, seems like he trying to cover up and make people think Danica Patrick is crazy because this woman married me right here. Since when getting married excuses you from previous domestic violence? They need to look into those allegations. Wow, what if the thought is the old Miss guy is a Manny cousin on the mama side in particular? Could be, because they definitely protected to the point they were willing to let people believe two things. For one, the NFL itself had been held accountable for that data breach against Shador. They said it was a fact, because that was a lie. They never came back and have been held accountable for it. And if so, we didn't hear nothing about it. They let you believe that that young man is the one that you saw with an old Miss sweatshirt on that made the call. They let you believe that that was the defensive coordinator's son. They let you believe he got the number and he made the phone call. I'm like, that ain't the defensive coordinator's son at all. And you have to challenge that entire story. Now that we know the number came from the NFL in an email to 2,000 people. You think they didn't know that before they told the media that it was the Falcons? Before they lied and told the media it was only two people that saw the number? The whole story sounds like a lie. They don't want to point out that Ole Miss connection running straight right through the New York Giants, which is the only organization to defame Shador Sanders. Every other organization he interviewed with, Pittsburgh, the Titans, and Cleveland, even said, no, he's good. Even Mary Cabot backed off. She's like, I know. We ain't see nothing like that. See, don't nobody own that. They like, it wasn't us. Because, see, that's serious. Because that's the defamation that came out of the mouth of the New York Giants coach and went straight to the owner's mouth and said, take that entitled so-and-so off my board. And the little person running around, that Mike Thomas said we had to have the phone calls. We had to listen to the phone calls. And the other guy was there. And we took the other guy. Tell you what it was. I was going to get it. No. They want to put me on blast and put my boss and basically threaten my job. But I hate to tell him. That's why Aaron Rodgers is there. So he's going to need some divine intervention to still be employed next year. But then Aaron Rodgers got these charges. See, they didn't want Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers told the Pittsburgh Steelers, if you get Shador Sanders, don't worry about me. So, okay. How about you deal with your domestic violence allegations? He shouldn't be on nobody's team. He already passed his time, and now he messing it up for this young man, thinking he hot shit. And he out here got a woman talking about he leaves a trail of blood. Somebody better look into that instead of trying to shut her up. That's what they need to be working on. See, that's karma right there. You trying to destroy somebody else's life, and now your shit on fire. Cleveland next. Mary Kevin might want to sit down somewhere. And most corporations know when they done screwed up, they try their best to get rid of the person. that they know they could get sued behind, whether that person sue them or somebody else sue them for what they did to that person. So it wouldn't surprise me if they get ready to let him go, because that's what most corporations would do. Oh shit, we done messed up. He got a case. Let's get him off the. If you ask me, that's exactly what they did to Vince Young. They left Vince Young in Tennessee for Jeff Fisher, his offensive coordinator, to destroy him. And then they finally fired Jeff Fisher, and next year they let go who? Vince Young, and they sent him from team to team to team to be cut preseason. This was performative part. They knew they was negligent with that young man. They tried to destroy him. These young people can't handle that, and they know it. Just like retailers know that shoppers between the age of 18 and 25 are impulsive and don't typically make good decisions, but they gonna spend the money. That's why everybody want 18 to 25, even though they ain't got no goddamn money. Not like that. So my time to get fired, my suggestion is write a book, sir. My suggestion for these NFL players who feel like they in a quandary because, oh my God, what did they do to Shador? They can do it to me, but I gotta get this bag. You better get that stripper plan. Get in, set a goal, get out. And in the off season, there should already be a big three of the NFL. And right now in the off season, y'all should be out here putting on a show with flag football, 7-on-7, 11-on-11, flag football, sell tickets. You have an audience. Stop letting these people force you into submission. You are grown men. You are the talent. If they thought they could do it without you, they would. Which means they can't. That's why they're nice to the wide receivers. Oh, pink substance that look like Tusi, come on in. And they think as long as I razzle dazzle you with highlights of cornerbacks and wide receivers who are black, you won't think that I'm racist against Sheduer. That's why they drafted Cam number one, which explains why he is out here competing for his job against the guy that failed, because he's number 16. Sheduer is number 17, and Milroe is buried at number 18. What's wrong with having the majority of your quarterbacks that are black to be the starters? Because you know why? They don't even make up the majority overall. They are only 20-25% of all quarterbacks, but they have ascended to the majority of the starters, with Shador at 17 and Milroe furthers it at 18 and Lenore Sellers 19. Cater 20. Ain't no looking back once that happened. So they threw everything at Shador. And they still doing it because he don't want him to be QB1 right this minute. So the way forward for Shador, depending on the scenario, if you on the roster and they bury you on the depth chart like Jalen Milroe, enjoy the experience until God open the door. And if they cut you, be happy and know that God has protected you from something. And if nobody pick you up in 32 teams after you on waivers, don't nobody want to get you, okay, move on. PJ Walker is in Canada. You could be just what Canada wants. Go where you are respected. These people are trying to destroy you. That's hatred. Did you see timing of that former CUQB saying that Coach Prime benched him in favor Shador? I saw that. I saw people talking about, why are you talking about that now? Yep. Mary Kay turned her comments off so fast. Because guess what? See, they want to be able, like Colin Cowherd, he want to be able to be loud and deflect and lie. He want to be able to turn your attention away from what they did to Shador. And that's why he's struggling. He's trying to cope. They want to turn your attention away from that because they don't want to be held accountable at all. Too bad. Because the collusion is out there. The public humiliation is out there. The defamation has been exposed. You gonna be held accountable. There are damages in this collusion case and 7.3 people who you wanted to see because you tried to exploit him for views, knowing you were going to be cruel towards him in front of our faces, which we did not sign up for. Too late. You're going to be held accountable. Just to show us that video that I just listened to was a confirmation that everything I said materialized. And some folks was held accountable. Time will tell. Thank you, Elaine. How you doing? Jungle, how you doing? Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, right? So I just want him to have the same mindset he had in the draft. It don't matter where I go. If they don't pick him, if they bury him on that chart, just be okay with it. Enjoy the experience. If they cut him and no and one team get him, just go over there. And then if another team don't, nobody get him, and they stand down and he just released, look at that as God's grace for you and your protection. When God directs, what does it say? When God delays or redirects, it's for your good and his glory. Don't ask no questions. Just be happy with the next door that God opened. Because understand, that's who kicked the door in the draft. Using, which proves God would use anybody. Let's see who we use next. So we have a members only live stream at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I already scheduled it, so you should have the notifications. As a reminder, the art of detachment, nothing belongs to me. It's all an experience. That's Shador's way forward. And I want to thank some people. Let's see if I can get it. Yeah, people need to use their platforms to hold these people accountable. That's what you use your platform for. Don't just use his name for clickbait and talk about what we already know. Use your platform. You can make the story about him. That's his name. But hold these people accountable about what they did to Shador. We owe him that much, in my opinion, as fans. All right, let's see if I can find it here. Let's see. I think I got it. Oh, here we go. Okay, so I want to give a special thank you. Of course, I want to give a special thank you to my day ones, Kiel and Gracie. And we have a new member, Peter. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us a day ago. Then we have Monique, Echo That Media, Tuna, Jungle Brother. Thank y'all so much. Wynette Foster. Thank you, Wynette. I enjoy your engagement in the chats too. Thank you. Navalia, thank you so much for hanging out with us and joining us. Priscilla, thank you so much. Jackie Chu, thank you so much. Anthony, thank you. Thank you. We enjoyed the engagement. Thank you for becoming members. Elijah. Jerry, of course, thank you so much. Thank you for all of the media you send. 400 Circle Media, thank you for riding with us. I appreciate y'all. The consistency, I appreciate it. James, thank you so much. Love the commentary, love the engagement, love the debates. Thank you so much. Right. And then we have some special things that we want to give to some people. Thank you so much. Wow. Ghost of Nessa, thank you so much. $50. Wow. What did she say? I'm gonna be honest. I'm the type of person. Let me read what she says. I'm the type of person. I'm trying to read this. Hold on, let me scoop this over. All right, now let's see if I can. Okay, so thank you for the $50. I'm going to be honest. I'm the type of person who attributes things to the simplest things. You have me convicted. I have watched Shador since Jackson. How does he have deals with Nike, Gatorade, Beats by Dre? He should be someone's QB1. And that's, you know, they want to say this man is not that good, but you got all the same brands that they have pouring into him. You have Colorado, not Coach Prime, recognizing Shador and Travis. They had tried to tear this young man down. They took the Heisman away from him, but he said, fine, let Shador have it. I mean, let Travis have it. He's all of his wide receivers, the only university to have all of the wide receivers in the NFL. Colorado. Shador's receivers. Oh, but Travis made him look good. They will say anything to tear this young man down. But what we see is reality. So they think they're going to brainwash us. Come on now. I've never in my life been brainwashed. And you can't tell me that they make me believe the sky is purple when I'm looking at it with my own two eyes that is blue. All they are doing is exposing themselves as desperate to play the keep away with Shador Sanders at QB1 and make it harder for Cam Ward and make it extremely difficult for Jalen Milroe. Why? And all Cleveland did was set him up from the beginning and lie. Prove me wrong. To come out and say, after you've been courting him publicly in front of everybody because you wanted us to know you was going to take him. Oh, we have Deshaun Watson. And you went and got Flacco. You paid Mason Graham. They were never going to get him. Just like he was off the board and he was just going to fall out the draft or to Mr. Irrelevant. Did they tell you they took him off the board? No. They could have told him they had his phone number. So thank you, Ghost and that's the facts. This young man is the truth. They don't want the truth wrapped in melanin. Call them out for it. That's all this is. When they took in racism out the end zone, they started going in. They want to match the agenda that they feel like is popular in this country. Obviously, it's not. There are 50 cities out here protesting. It ain't all about immigration. When they all got together on one day, it was not about that at all. So if they want to hitch their ride after they've been called out, keep going. They willing to risk it all. Dumb down. Make it mediocre. Just to tear down number 17 of 32. They don't want this young man to be QB1. Promise you that's why they talking about Kirk Cousins. They probably got him on standby. Something could happen to the other three. They're going to go get somebody else. They do not want Sheduer to be QB1 in this league. They do not want Cam to easily become QB1 because he earned it. So he got to compete with the one that failed before him. That is dysfunction. And they know exactly who Jalen Milroe is. Because you don't tell somebody that one person has the skill set of two of the best to do it as a dual threat. Lamar Jackson and Michael Vick. They could have talked about that in the draft. And fans would be leaning forward, ready to see him play. They don't want you to see him play, which is why they have said you ain't going to see him play this year because he's buried on the depth chart. They use those exact words. Now they're trying to do it to Sheduer. Making Cam compete, burying Sheduer, burying Milroe. This is about black quarterbacks, 17 to 32. So thank you for the support, Nessa. Thank you so much. Thank you for pointing out. Companies have poured into this young man. He's talented. He's gifted. He has what the generation now says, aura. And they trying to smother all of that. They trying to break him in half so he doesn't shine. If you didn't want him, you shouldn't have drafted him. Explain why you drafted him if you knew before the combine you didn't want him. Let me hear, but the media hold them accountable to that. They're willing to say they were lied to, but then ask why did you draft him then? Why would you draft somebody with such superior talent and bury them? The same reason they drafted Vince Young, one of the best college quarterbacks, and tried to dumb him down. to a pure pocket passer because they didn't want him at all. So they tried to destroy him too. And damn near did. And he back in Austin living his life. He didn't have any problems before UT. He didn't have any problems after the NFL. It was only in the NFL. This is what they do. Poor talent. These guys better wise up. So thank you, NASA, for pointing it out. Thank you for the support. If Shador goes to Canada, the other was fine. In fact, if Shador went to Canada, let's say Shador didn't sign his contract, he could not go back the next day. And there are 40 guys who have not signed their contracts. And that's probably why they're going to keep Shador. Because one of them is who? Travis Hunt. Imagine Travis and Shador in Canada. Travis ain't signed his contract. If the NFL is foolish enough to let Shador go, Quinshon Judkins ain't signed his contract either. There are people who will invest in the CFL and make sure these guys get paid. And they'll be like, yes. There's guys out here right now trying to figure out how to put a league together. It really ain't hard. You can call me, I'll tell you. All they got to do is go out there and play a 7-on-7 flag football game, which does not violate their contracts. You ain't even got to charge money. Just make sure it's well advertised and we all know and we going to show up. And then you're going to realize you can do this on your own. Don't be seduced by non-guaranteed money or money that they guarantee, but they have a clause that says they can take it away in the future. The minute Philadelphia had him at 145, Cleveland hurried up and drafted him at 144. Philadelphia was not drafting Sheduer at 145. And if so, how did they get the nine when nobody else did? He was not on the draft board. Take that entitled so-and-so off the draft board. Sheduer went to Cleveland because Cleveland was already making him their franchise QB. That's why Andrew Berry said, and I quote, well, his value relative to the first round was too high, too low. He is a retro style pocket passer, which means his skills are outdated. But they took 2 and 3 who are retro style pocket passers. This was all a setup. I don't even need Discovery to prove it. It's enough that it happened. The fact that they knew in 2024, 15 quarterbacks started the season. That means they knew how many was coming out in this draft when the Heisman top 10 list came out. 2 quarterbacks that I know of was on it, Cam Ward and Shador Sanders. Why y'all think they kept trying to put Cam over Shador? Because they wanted Cam to go to Tennessee because the story didn't work with Cam. Cam was 16. Shador was the chosen one. And that's who they trying to tear down. The chosen one. Shador could have went to Tennessee. But how I'm going to tear down Cam at 17? I was going to have to draft him. And he's going to be QB1. And he's going to go to Cleveland. And compete against who? Hell, Shador beat every last one of them. That's what you think. Him and Cam, the same QB. That's why Shador was pigeonholed to Cleveland. That's why Cleveland came running. And New York was just pretending. They was never drafting him. And they've been pretending. They kept showing up at CU. This was all a charade. And it was planned somewhere around or before the Las Vegas Super Bowl, which is why they went to, what is his name? Charles Woodson, and asked, are you still interested? Because they had denied him previously. And then suddenly he gets ownership, limited partnership to where? Cleveland. When they knew they was going to pigeonhole Sheduer. They ain't stupid. They ignorant, but they not stupid. They know they messed up too. They know there's damages. They know 40 players have not signed their contracts. They ain't finna cut Sheduer because one of them is Travis Hunter and the other one is Shador's teammate that see everything that's going on. And if you think there's a few people out here that can't find the money that they supposed to make, because you only got to pay them year by year. They don't get it all at once. Believe me, somebody got $100 million to pay 10 people so they don't sign their contract. Go to Canada with Shador, Travis Hunter. He signed his contract and he bought him a $3.2 million house, so he ain't broke. He don't like what they doing to Shador. He had already said it. They not cutting him right now. And maybe that's what God wants. So we're going to see what happens. And if they cut him, he free. And we're going to be good with that too. The prankers told Sheduer you would have to wait a little longer. How the hell they know that? They knew Sheduer wasn't going to New Orleans because they've been talking around that kid. No coincidence that kid went to Ole Miss. I doubt the whole story about where they say the iPad came from because they lied. See, they already lied. They want you to forget they lied. But see, they messing up with this hit job on Sheduer because people just gonna start talking. I posted today. What did I post on X? Posted the prank with the guy calling that I had already posted. I posted him saying, "Hi, this Sheduer." And what did I say? What's this right here with this Ole Miss sweatshirt? I said, "Hey, you want to talk about accountability? Who the hell is this?" That's all people get ready to do. Everything they did to the draft, they have not been held accountable for. They have not been held accountable for breaching his data to 2,000 people. They lied. They have not been held accountable for that prank. The head coach of the New York Giants have not been held accountable. He has not been fired for lying and saying Sheduer was entitled. And what was all this about these him not being prepared? Those are lies. That is defamation. That's damages. They all in trouble. Cleveland too. All it's gonna take is for one person who been fired. Probably some of them scouts that they fired from New York. I have no idea why. Because you're not gonna convince me and a jury that you didn't draft Sheduer because of what your scout said. When we heard what your own head coach said and what your quarterback coach tried to hide behind anonymity. And everybody knows who came around and made those phone calls when Pittsburgh was getting ready to draft. Yeah, we all know because the green rooms are all recorded. Jacksonville and Carolina Panthers already have videos with their green rooms. Yeah, that call was recorded. It's a top-down view from the ceiling. So they know who made the phone calls. Somebody gonna talk. Because see, here's the thing. They want the public to believe that that man's son is the one you see there with the Ole Miss sweatshirt on. It is not. If something happens to his son, because somebody realizes who he is somewhere publicly, that family is not going to be happy because they know their son didn't make that phone call. They know it's somebody else that the NFL is choosing to protect while throwing their son under the bus. And their husband too, because Atlanta didn't do it. The NFL knew the NFL did it before they said it was Atlanta. They decided to lie. As if we weren't going to never find out the truth. Just like the prank. Somebody called Cat Williams. They knew he wasn't going to New Orleans. They knew he wasn't going to New Orleans for sure. They called while the Saints were on the clock to pick, impersonated the GM, and said, "Oh, you're going to have to wait a little longer." And then guess what happened after they hung up? The Saints made their pick. This was all well timed. No other prank was executed like that. And what was the first thing they came out and said? Mason Graham was pranked too, not by this crew right here. And you see, they never came back to it. They want to sweep it under the rug, just like Danica Patrick allegations of Aaron Rodgers leaving a trail of blood. And now he out here pretending to be married, but they don't want to look into that. But you want to talk about a speeding ticket. All right then. All right then. Because I think what Danica Patrick said is very disturbing and needs to be looked into. But no, they just want him to be in Cleveland because why? He said allegedly that if Cleveland picks Shador, don't worry about him. So I guess he has to have his way. but he got this hanging over his like a dark cloud. And the only reason you don't hear about it is because they don't want to talk about it. They rather talk about a speeding ticket than domestic violence allegations. What does that say to the people who are victims of domestic violence? To Danica Patrick and women like her in her situation? That a speeding ticket is more important to talk about than to look into allegations of abuse, physical abuse. But see, that's what happens. People don't hold other people accountable because they don't want to be held accountable. And that's why it's a big hot mess right now. Then that makes them part of the plot. They are part of the plot. They gave out his number before it happened. They are part of a libel and collusion and defamation. Defamation, slander, libel, collusion, public humiliation, emotional distress. I could just go on and on and on. And you see, they want to continue. They want to keep in. Oh, okay. See that's people right there. They just gonna fall on the sword. This the hill they want to die on. Let them have what they want. So we're gonna get out of here because we have to be back at 6 p.m. for a members only live stream. Consider joining and becoming a member today. We'll see you guys in a little bit. It's already 5 something, so I'll be right back at about 6. Check your notifications, check the members only section. I already scheduled it. I think it's scheduled for right at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we're getting ready to go into that. Thank you for all of my supporters. Thank y'all so much. Thank you, Ghost Anessa, today. And there's a few other people I want to say thank you to. I've already thanked the members, so hopefully y'all heard that. And I have some special supporters I want to thank. I want to thank Intercessor. Thank you so much. Janice, thank you so much. Janice T. Walker. Freeman Harris, thank you. Terrence. Freeman, thank you again. Wild Dog, appreciate you. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Thank y'all so much. I appreciate everybody that supports the channel as members or supporters. Thank y'all so much. If you want to know how to contribute to the channel, you can check the chat, you can check the comments, you can check the bio, and there's a QR code on the video on the screen. So thank y'all so much because, I think being independent, meaning free of sponsors, feeling like, oh, you can't say this or you can't say that is the best way to go. And I need y'all support for that. So I appreciate y'all for taking the initiative to support the channel financially. Thank you, members and supporters. And thank you, subscribers. Y'all are keeping us going up. And thank you for hitting the like button. If you didn't hit the like button on the way in, hit the like button on the way out and consider joining and becoming a member. You can choose your level. Thank y'all so much. I'll be back at 6 p.m. for a members only live stream. Thank you so much for watching What She Said Sports. Have a good weekend. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Be sure to join our daily live stream and listen up to What She Said Sports on the go on Spotify. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Stay for another video. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Be sure to join our daily live stream and listen up to What She Said Sports on the go on Spotify. Thank you for watching